vaccines has just come out. It's in the International Journal of Cardiovascular Research and Innovation, and it's open access, and I'll be showing you how to access it in a minute. But let's just start with a quiz. Now here we have the all adverse events reported filed under the Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System in the United States from 1990 through to 2024. So the quiz is, guess what year was 2021, the year of the vaccine rollout? Well, I don't think you'll be too surprised that it's the first big red column. 2021 vaccine rollout year. Now it's true that there were more vaccines given during that time, but the amount of adverse events reported is massively disproportionate, as we'll see in a minute. 2021 again is the obvious year there, the year of the vaccine rollout, and we see that the deaths were over 10,500 in that time period. Impressive piece of academia. They've tied everything together. I was really quite taken aback when I read this paper, the quality of it. So here is the study here, myocarditis after SARS coronavirus 2 infection and COVID-19 vaccination, epidemiology, outcomes and new perspectives. Now, it's just incredibly thorough piece of work. I'm not going to sort of scroll through it all, but if we just look down, it covers amazing amount of detail, ties together all the literature pretty well. So it runs to what is it? Page 1 to 43, and the amount of referencing and scholarship in here is really quite impressive. The amount of work that's been done on this to get this compilation. We're down to what? Good grief, 100 and how many references are there? 341 references. Really is quite an impressive piece of work. And the conclusion: we urge governments to remove the COVID-19 mRNA products from the market. That's reported. Now this, put together by Dr Jessica Rose, she's done an awful lot of brilliant, Jessica Rose has done some brilliant statistical work and scientific work on this topic, and continues to be a real spokesperson, a spokeswoman for the ordinary man and woman who don't have the skills that she has, and that most certainly includes me. Here we see the age groups. So number of adverse events here. For example, we see in 0 to 4s there 3,263. The idea that we'd be giving experimental RNA vaccines to children 6 months to 4 years of age, I just find it reckless, appalling. But there we are. And then 5 to 11s, a bit low in these age groups, but still an awful lot. And then the number of adverse reactions start to increase, and these are normalized per million doses in the different age groups. So a nice piece of work from Jessica there. Now here we start to look at the pathology, and really we've known this for some time, that the vaccine is injected, the lipid nanoparticles go all around the body, they circulate to the heart, the lipid nanoparticles inject their mRNA into the myocardial cells, the myocytes. The myocytes express this foreign protein, the immune system recognises this foreign protein and attacks the whole cell. It's so simple. We've had this confirmed by numerous leading doctors and scientists we've talked to, and here they say that they're perfusion stable spike protein. So the myocardial cells, under the instructions, some might say under the dictate of the mRNA, produces the spike protein, and it doesn't wash away, it sticks to the surface of the myocyte, the myocardial cell membrane. And that's why the immune system can attack the whole thing, because it's stuck on the cell membrane, and of course that's what causes the damage to the heart, the inflammation. And we also see in this pathology slide copy, we see fibrotic tissue, which would indicate some degree of healing, and we also see inflammatory immune cells attracted to the site of the inflammation. So confirmation from numerous types of literature of what we've already had confirmed on this channel. The lipid nanoparticles are systemically distributed and cause the spike protein to be produced all over the body, and yet these are still tolerated by regulators. Now, this one here, young males the highest risk. So age and sex, young males 12 to 24 face the highest risk, up to 7 times higher myocarditis incidence post Moderna vaccine compared to their female counterparts. So young men at extremely high risk. Could be more information to come out from the American military yet, although that is somewhat covered in the paper. Don't want these things close together. Probably doesn't actually say this, but probably worse if there's been an actual infection as well, which of course was everywhere at the time. Moderna versus Pfizer. So Moderna has up to 3 to 5 times higher myocardial risk compared to the Pfizer vaccine, likely due to its higher RNA concentration. Now, I'd say the adverse reactions from the Pfizer are unacceptably high, but Moderna 3 to 5 times higher. Why on earth he wanted to put so much mRNA in the Moderna vaccine, I simply don't know. Of course, regardless of the amount of mRNA that you give, still the amount of spike protein that the body produces, and where the body produces that spike protein, is completely unpredictable. It's roll the dice and take your chances, isn't it? Also, genetic and immune factors. Certain genetic markers and immune dysregulation may contribute to increased susceptibility, as really you would have expected. That's usually the case. Now, this is quite concerning. Of those that got myopericarditis, 84 to 96% of Moderna RNA myocarditis cases required hospitalization. 50% showed long-term myocardial abnormalities. Now, this is particularly concerning, the reports of scarring in the myocardium. Basically, as I understand the pathology, once the myocardial muscle is dead and it's scarred, the muscle is never going to recover. We're talking about permanent myocardial damage in a proportion of these adverse events that have been put about by certain people who knows, may have a vested interest. Let's look at those now. Misconception 1, infection causes more myocarditis. The fact, Moderna mRNA shots pose higher risk. So they're saying here that the Moderna shots have got a higher risk of myopericarditis compared to having the infection, especially in the younger, less at risk age groups whom this vaccine was forced upon, essentially, in many cases. It won't happen again. Misconception 2, Moderna mRNA related myocarditis is mild. It's not mild. It can be mild, but fact, long-term damage and death clearly documented. How much problems are still to become manifest, and of course we could be talking about other complications, potential cancers. This is just, we'll stick to what this paper actually says. Risk-benefit ratio favours Moderna RNA shots. In fact, strong evidence contradicts this claim, which I would agree with. Now, just a couple more graphics. This is deaths related to baseline major cardiovascular diseases, and we see the numbers go up. To some extent in 2020, but also to a higher degree in 2021 of the baseline. I'm pretty sure that was from the insurer's data. Pretty sure that's from the insurer's data. Do download this for yourself, free PDF, quite readable actually.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, I don't think there's really any need to say more than that. Dr. Milholmes expressed that really quite well. The link for the paper is there. Download it for yourself. Very readable, nice piece of work. This is now in the public domain. Any